Serene, isn't it? Such a beautiful visage, yes. Rather, indeed. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Kavzar's Settlement Showcase. And this is going to be one of the last couple of videos that I'm recording. As you can see, that's the Miniman statue in front of Sanctuary Hills. And while that settlement is particularly well built, it's a lot better built than in my first playthrough, we're actually going to be going to here. Red Rocket, the old gas station. And as you'll notice, I renamed it Re-Roke, because as you'll notice, those are the only ones that are still there on the outer facade of the building. So anyways, fairly minor settlement. The way I designed it is to be kind of the front line of defense. If anybody was to be coming from the central northern part of the Commonwealth, let's take a look at the map, shall we? You'll notice that the Sanctuary Hills and Red Rocket Station are in the northwestern section of the Commonwealth. And if anything was to be coming out of the north or from, you know, the southwest or the southeast, you know, towards this corner, isolated corner of the Commonwealth, the first line of defense would be Red Rocket Truck Stop. And so, as such, since it's also perfectly situated on a hill, it makes for the perfect first line of defense settlement for anything that wants to attack the settlement of Sanctuary Hills. So, heavily fortified on the front here. It's got a lot of heavy laser turrets there. More heavy laser turrets there, of course. As usual, I have all of my turrets that are powered with switches equipped, so that way I can turn them on and off whenever I want. This is basically the outer battlement of the hillside. You can kind of get a very good view of Concord, I believe is the town. Yep. So anything that decides to come through Concord and up through this road here, or this pass over here that goes along that side of the settlement, this will be perfectly situated to defend against any assault. I have the high ground, Anakin. So here we have another little guard shack, guard emplacement area. Of course, there you go. Little switchies that give me full control. A little switch. Yep. And like I said, there's that ravine, that pass that goes on that side of the settlement, which I've built defenses facing that way as well, to ensure nothing gets past this base towards Sanctuary without this place first knowing about it. And this is actually a fairly better build that I did for this settlement compared to my first playthrough. Way more in-depth, kind of a test run for how to build really well fortified positions. As you'll notice, I do have a lot of civilians here compared to my other settlements that have either very few or none. I kind of wanted to make sure it had a little bit of vibrancy added to it. The garage, of course, I've converted into Alexandra's room. It's also a utility station. It's got armor, weapons, workbenches. I've got a spare power armor in here just in case. Press the button, press the button. It opens the door. Probably my most favorite feature about this settlement is that. So you go ahead and shut the door. And because of one of the mods that I use, you can lock that door. So it makes it perfectly inaccessible. Anyways, same thing here. I keep that door locked at all times. Here you have a communal living space, lots of beds, cabinets, etc.
Another day of hard work.
Yeah, I'm a ghoul. That's how I talk. Anyways, so yep, more communal beds. I sealed that off, so that way it's kind of secure. The main building in this general area, it's got, you know, these little windows, kind of like murder holes. Here, again, this side of these settlements lightly defended because it faces Sanctuary. It's not supposed to be heavily defended because that's friendlies in that general direction. And of course there's some more turret emplacements that guard this side of the settlement. Here on the northeastern corner, just to make sure nothing comes up the road or out from those hills, which there are some raiders living in the hills, some old sentry bots, and some other scary stuff in the woods in that general direction. And a settler creepily staring at me from over there. That's like some horror film stuff shit right there. That was really creepy. Anyways, so here we have the main road approach defenses. Crossroads perfectly zoned in with these laser turrets. Here you have the water pump stations that provide this settlement with all the water it needs to trade and or survive with. Here, of course, we have some very minor farming. Most of the farming is done at Sanctuary Hills. Of course, they trade food with everybody else and this settlement as well. And kind of a perfect little fortress slash city going here. Chemistry station, armor workbench again, cooking station. You got your water pumps. And of course, you'll notice, obviously, the main fortress that I built on top of it, which I think ordinarily you are able to build up here, although in the event that you aren't, I recommend getting the Build Anywhere mods. Of course, you have a bunch of these power thingies, I think. Oh, right, I didn't show you the power room.
Hope you ain't one of them.
Fairly generic, just like the rest of my settlements. I do have a power room. It's in this corner, isolated, and hopefully, statistically speaking, the least likely place to get attacked, because it's on the corner closest to Sanctuary Hills. I have just one fusion generator. That's really all you need. It's 100 power. I don't need anything more than that. It's more than enough to provide for the settlement's power needs, the neon lights, the turrets, etc. And, of course, the rocket box. Oh, yeah. It's a sex thing. Anyways, so here we have the bottom floor, kind of sparse, which, again, simple, not supposed to be extravagant. You know, you have rough and tumble people living out here in the hills. You know, got a couple of beds, and that's basically all you need. You got the staircase leading to the next floor. Here's a couple of murder holes in the corners. You got people that can sleep over here. Perfect view of that approach, that valley that goes past towards Sanctuary Hills. And perfectly good view of Concord. Again, more beds. Beds. Those are kind of isolated. Oh, and of course a bed back here. Nice and private. Even better view the higher up you go. Perfect view of Concord. You can see downtown Boston through the mists and the Prydwen, which I haven't blown up yet. Wait, what? Anyways, so next floor is the roof access, and here you go. This is where the main firepower for the settlement comes from, in the form of missile turrets on top of the rocket box, and that's also why I call it that, and it's still a sex thing. But anyways, so perfect field of view, covers all the important approaches from that water tower, and then south and east. Basically anything that comes from those directions is screwed. I didn't put any turrets over here, obviously because the field of view is blocked by that horrendous rocket, which I think I am able to delete with the delete everything mod that I have. But I decided to leave it because it's a nice piece for, you know, the settlement to have that there. And so, and besides, the statistical likelihood of anything coming from out of those woods might be a couple of raiders, maybe a couple of feral ghouls, nothing too serious. There's nothing really in that general direction. Besides, those laser turrets down there can pretty much handle themselves. And if not, of course, there's plenty of settlers that can defend the settlement as well. And that's pretty much it for the defenses up here. And I believe, yep, as usual, as per my settlements, I'm able to control all of the missile turrets with one switch. Because I like having control. So, pretty cool stuff. And that is it. Go back outside. And call it a day. The rocket box. And so I will leave you with this image of Concord in the downtown Boston skyline. Nuka-Cola. That's the good stuff. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you have any suggestions on how to improve this settlement or tips and tricks that you've learned in your settlement build for Red Rocket, do share in the comments section. We can get a dialogue going and see where it takes us. And I hope you got some good ideas for your settlements. Next up on the list is, of course, the one right behind me, Sanctuary Hills. And we're going to have some fun there. My first build of Sanctuary Hills was fairly rudimentary, although it was pretty cool by the time it was finished. I like to think that this second playthrough, I've greatly improved upon it, although I was tooling around with mods this second time around, and I kind of screwed up the settlement just a little bit, and I'll cover that in the next video, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So thank you again for watching, and I'll leave you with this beautiful sunny sky.